What's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about some updates on Beyond Good and Evil 2, because after years of silence, it finally feels like Ubisoft has started to move again on this project. The game has been rumored, rebooted, delayed, restarted, and talked about so many times that hearing anything official almost catches people off guard now. The new job listings and multiplayer mentions didn't confirm everything, but they did get everyone something more concrete to latch onto. It's been one of those games where players stop expecting announcements, and now that Ubisoft is not into our progress again, people are trying to figure out what this update really means. One of the biggest things that stood out was the online multiplayer angle, because it lines up with the rumors that Ubisoft wanted Beyond Good and Evil to be more of an online shared world experience. There was already hinting at the developer commentary years ago, but the new listings basically tell us the team is building systems built for co-op or large connected players. Ubisoft love pushing multiplayer into franchises, even when fans ask for story first, so it doesn't surprise me that much it's heading in that direction. What people want to know is if it's a light co-op or fully online. That's the huge difference, and Ubisoft hasn't made that part clear yet. I mean, it was always pitched as this massive space exploration game with freedom to move between planets and cities seamlessly, and adding multiplayer on top of that means the scope is even bigger. That might explain some of the delays, because a project this size is harder for any studio, especially after reports about team restructuring and direction change. The original Beyond Good and Evil wasn't a multiplayer game, so this is already a big shift from the source material. A project grows slower when the vision keeps expanding, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 definitely expanded every year it stayed alive. Ubisoft seems like they're finally trying to lock down that vision instead of chasing the hype around the biggest game ever. Something that caught my eye was the wording in the listings about social systems and event participation, which sounds like Ubisoft wants real-time community moments similar to Destiny, GTA Online, or even Skull and Bones. It doesn't mean it'll turn into a full live service game, but Ubisoft clearly wants something ongoing instead of a one-and-done sequel. They've been chasing long-tail games for years because that's what investors want, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 always felt like their attempt at building a massive platform instead of a simple story game. Whether players actually ask for that is a different conversation. Ubisoft doesn't always listen to that part. As someone who watched Ubisoft struggle to commit in one direction the last few years, it kind of makes sense that Beyond Good and Evil 2 kept restarting. When a studio keeps switching leads, rewriting systems, and testing features, you end up with a game that can't find its identity. That's been the story of Beyond Good and Evil 2 for over a decade. Fans want that emotional single-player adventure like the first game, but Ubisoft wants a huge universe they can monetize long-term. That push and pull is probably why the project stalled. I mean, the new update also mentions improved production pipelines, which Ubisoft's way of saying, we finally have a stable team on this. And that's good, because the game was reportedly in a rough spot after internal departures. Ubisoft doesn't announce that kind of stuff openly, so when they mention alignment and new workflows, that usually means leadership problems were real. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was labeled as the longest game in development last year, which wasn't a good look. This update feels like them trying to steady that ship. I mean, people forget, Ubisoft literally confirmed the game is still in pre-production last year, which shocked everyone because the trailers look so far ahead. That tells you how early the tech actually was behind the scenes. Ubisoft tends to show CGI concepts years before systems are actually playable, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 was a perfect example of that. The new update suggests they're finally past that early stage. I mean, it doesn't mean the game is close, but it means it's not like just rumors anymore. I mean, the timeline is wild though, because Beyond Good and Evil 2 was announced back in 2008, resurfaced in 2017, and then went missing, like nothing about it. No other AAA game has been public for that long without real gameplay. Ubisoft knows that too, because they've been talking about wanting more transparent updates from now on. I don't fully believe that, but at the least they're acknowledging the situation. When a game disappears for years, hype doesn't survive unless something drastic happens. It also doesn't help that Ubisoft has been dealing with internal restructuring across multiple studios, which also affect everything from pipelines to staffing. Beyond Good and Evil 2 switched studios several times, including Montpellier and other support teams, which also slows development. When Ubisoft says they're aligning teams, that usually means they're centralizing control so the vision doesn't get split anymore. That's a move they should have made years ago. The project was too spread out. Something that adds pressure is how expensive Ubisoft's projects have become, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 is easily one of the most expensive games eternally. When a game costs this much, Ubisoft needs it to be a long-term product, not just a nostalgic sequel. That mindset is why multiplayer keeps getting pushed into it. Ubisoft doesn't want one big launch, they want something that can last years. It's a business decision more than a creative decision, and when you look at the current Ubisoft lineup, Beyond Good and Evil 2 stands out because everything else is part of an existing franchise cycle, like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Division. Those all run on predictable schedules. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is the odd one that doesn't fit in any template. It makes Ubisoft nervous because they don't know how it'll perform. That's probably why they're trying to shape into something safer commercially. One thing I keep thinking is about how dangerous it is for Ubisoft to chase scale instead of identity. We've already seen massive open world games fall apart when they're trying to do everything at once. Skull and Bones is a perfect example of a project that got lost because the vision kept expanding. Beyond Good and Evil 2 might fall into that same trap if Ubisoft doesn't lock down what type of game it actually wants to be. Players don't want another endless checklist game. It reminds me of how Starfield built a giant universe but struggled to feel it meaningful. People are scared Beyond Good and Evil could repeat that. Ubisoft saw that reaction too, so I wouldn't be shocked if they're reworking portions of the narrative to avoid avoid that like emptiness. A universe that big needs something pulling players forward. Ubisoft knows that, or else their entire structure collapses. I also think the multiplayer angle could help, depending on how Ubisoft handle it. Co-op in a world that big could actually be fun if it's optional and story driven, but if they go full live service, people will back away instantly. Ubisoft's track record tells both stories, so it could go either way. If they keep it lightweight, it could actually be one of the better features. Another thing that stands out is the focus on player expression, which basically means Ubisoft wants RPG style customization in the game. That worked well in Assassin's Creed, so I get why they're copying it, but Beyond Good and Evil 2 needs its own identity, or else players would say it feels like another Ubisoft template. That's something they need to avoid more than anything. Fans waited too long for something generic. Keep thinking about how No Man's Sky launched poorly but rebuilt itself through updates, and how Ubisoft might be trying to avoid that entire cycle. If Beyond Good and Evil drops unfinished, there's no recovering from it after this long. Ubisoft knows that the spotlight on this game is way harsher than usual. Any misstep gets magnified. That's probably why they waited so long to confirm even basic details. Players also want to know if Jay is even in the game because the mystery has been floating around for years. The prequel angle confused people. Ubisoft never answered that clearly. It's one of the biggest things fans care about. Ubisoft needs to establish that connection to the first game cleanly. That's the heart of the franchise. And to be honest, the fact that Ubisoft was even talking about it publicly tells me they know people were assuming the project was dead. They wouldn't make noise unless they had something real behind the scenes. That gives me a little more confidence than before. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's something. After this many years, something is better than nothing. For everything we've seen, Beyond Good and Evil 2 still feels early, but not hopeless at all now. Ubisoft is finally aligning the team, committing to a direction, and pushing for more open communication. There's still a mountain of work left, but at least the project isn't stuck in the spinning wheel anymore. If Ubisoft keeps releasing updates like this, fans might actually believe progress is happening. The foundation is finally formed again, guys. So at the end of the day, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still alive, still massive, and still a project Ubisoft wants to push forward. Even though it's been one of the hardest games they ever built, the new multiplayer hints, production nodes, and direction shifts are all point to a real movement. There's finally a reason to pay attention again. If Ubisoft lean into the story and identity of the game, this could be a real, actually potential good game, and a big game. This could turn into something meaningful after all these years. For now though, this update is the first genuinely positive sign we had in a long time. Let me know what you guys think about this. Are you guys excited for Beyond Good and Evil? Me personally, I am, because I haven't played that game since I was a kid, but you guys let me know. Hope you enjoyed the video, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all the love you guys have been showing me. It's your boy Rememories. Catch you next time. Peace.